Change is not easy. It doesn't matter if you know you've got to change, or even if you really, really, really want to change. Change is a process, a long process. And within that process, you go through the ups and the downs and the chaos and the emotional roller coaster of failure to success. Failure to success. No matter how hard you try, you're gonna fail once or twice. But change can happen overnight, in an instant, and then you just continue down that path. Once a liar, always a liar. Once a thief, always a thief. Once a con, a crook, a criminal, always a con, a crook, a criminal. To many in our society, that's the very beliefs that they have in their mind. Sadly, I, for over 40 years of my life, fell into the trap of believing that. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I knew up in my mind that change was necessary, change was mandatory, I struggled. I couldn't overcome my own personal self, my own inner demons, to feel successful or accomplished in the very endeavor that I was seeking, which was a better self, a better life, a better way of living. You see, I wasn't born into a good situation. That's not an excuse. I didn't act appropriately from a very young age. I acted out. I acted selfishly. If you could imagine a 5-year-old running around, a 5-year-old narcissistic little bull-headed boy, that most likely was me. Selfish, key word. Key word. No matter how much I even felt it within me that I cared about others, my actions never showcased as much. I did everything for my own self, including act a fool and disrespect others in a manner that I would lie, cheat, steal, deceive. You could use the entire dictionary of criminalistic behavior words, and it probably would have a picture of me next to it. A very early age scam artist. I would lie to my own loved ones for no reason whatsoever. There was no gain out of it at all. Once I was adopted, once I got out of the very depths of the negative nature of foster care, I was adopted into a home that, even though at first was not stable, because literally a divorce transpired very short time after my adoption, but I was born into stability. I was born into educational values, people, as parents, as brothers, sisters, family that were educated, capable of running their own companies, capable of being bankers, teachers, even winning awards in the local community of Citizens of the Year because of all that they gave back to the very community that we lived in. But I ran around like I owned the place. I was the all-everything boss, the narcissistic thinker, the one that legitimately didn't think about others before acting. The crazy thing is, if you separated my thinking from my actions, they were two different concepts altogether. Because within me, I cared about people. In my mind, I cared about people. But when I made my decisions, when I used my thought processes, it never ended up in any other way than hurting others and proving that their very statements that I was a lying, scamming, thieving, criminalistic behavior, I only proved them right, and I did it time and time again. You see, through the years, I had many opportunities to act differently. I was given so many chances and opportunities to overcome the very demons without having the negativity of a background, a record. People let me off the hook. And I just continued down my path as if it was all good and I had all the capability of doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I was all over this earth, literally. I would leave home and just take off, and I was on my own, and I was on my voyage. I didn't care who I left behind. I had a mother who most likely loved me with everything she was after adopting me. She just couldn't deal with the thought processes that I had and the actions that I did, even though she tried and tried again and tried again, chance after chance after chance. And I blew it every single time. And that's why when I sat down to create this channel, I wanted to bring it all out to you. And I wanted to share parts of myself that I don't normally share with others. They're not good parts. These are the very reasons why change is so important and necessary. These are the very reasons why I myself struggle each and every single day, even today, late 40s, and I still battle the very demons of actual change. Because each and every day it's a new battle. When someone uses the terminology, once a liar, always a liar, that's because in most cases, someone that is accustomed to lying, that's their first nature in any even conversation that they have with somebody. So a part of the change for an individual like that, like myself, is to stop, breathe, think before I speak. That way I focus myself on what's most important, which is the truth. It's never the easiest thing to just let flow, but it's the most important, and that's a part of the change. You see, a thief typically will see the pen on the table and not hesitate to reach for said pen to put it in their pocket and leave. In most cases, that pen is an expendable object to those that left it there. But that pen, when you turn that into a valuable object, a diamond ring, an heirloom watch, somebody's very, very sanctuary of their own home, I have to stop and think to make sure I don't rip that from the grasp of the very people that it means so much to. Thieving is not just the concept of taking that pen from the table. Thieving is taking the very respect that individuals deserve from someone like myself. That's why I I have to tell my story. I have to share with you the up and down roller coasters of my experiences of life in a true and real manner, because that's how I can showcase that I'm changing and giving those around me the respect that they deserve. If I can't focus on doing that very thing, then I just fall into the very traps of the said words and beliefs of those people that don't believe. People like the old self I was can actually change. You see, I do care. I do care about people. And the biggest part of my change is accepting that, respecting that, and learning to be honest to that. Every day, there's an opportunity that lies before me that needs a decision. There's the opportunity to lie to somebody. There's the opportunity to be honest. And it's a fork in the road. And that's why I call my channel a twisted path of change. It's never going to be a direct road to where you want to be, where you want to end up. And that's why when I took to the roads as a young man, I was all over the place, from the East Coast to the West Coast to Alaska to Mexico. I traveled and I went, well, because I was on the run. Yes, I was on the run from the law because of my actions, but in more so cases, I was in the run from my own inner self and the chaos that I felt within me, because I knew I just ripped the heart out of people that loved me and cared about me again and again and again. Relationships for the longest period of time didn't mean anything to me. They were a dime a dozen and they wouldn't last a week. Not because the individuals that were offering me said relationships didn't care. It was myself. I was just acknowledging the fact that every relationship I had was expendable. Before my current wife, who is not expendable, and this is the reason for change. It was the beginning of the change, and it's the continuous factor for daily improvement and change. My current wife put the foot down and tried to instill in me new respect, a self-worth, the learning of integrity, and in most cases, honesty. Have I failed even in the time that I've been with my wife? Absolutely. But not as bad as I have in the past. Now, you see, before this current wife, I've been married other times, and neither lasted. And sadly, I couldn't even tell those women the truth ever about anything. Not even my own self. I lied about the own person that I was. And today, I just want those that come to this channel to understand. We're going to talk about real, raw experiences. I'm going to share with you a path in life that was not the best, and it ended up in incarceration, loss of loved ones, loneliness, chaos, emotional chaos, mental chaos, and it's an everyday unwinding to try to get back down to the basics that so many that haven't endured something like that don't have to worry about. But I know there's many out there that know exactly how I feel, because you have the chaos within you. sometimes your demons, your battles, whether it be drinking, narcotics, speeding in your car, thieving, lying, whatever the downfall you may have, seems to overcome everything in life. I've even seen people just not be able to change the fact that they're lazy and don't want to work. I get it. Change is hard. Change is extremely difficult, but it can be done. One step at a time. And for something that I learned, I had to break that mold. I had to break that very thinking that I had, that when people stated, once a liar, always a liar. Once a thief, always a thief. Once a criminal, always a criminal. I had to break the mold and stop believing that. I had to believe I could be better, which means I had to find self-worth. I had to believe in myself that even at the end of the day, through each day that I endured a little bit of a slip up, a failure, it was okay because I could overcome it. I could continue down the path of being able to become the better person I want to be. This channel is going to be dedicated to being open-minded and accepting of anybody that is enduring change, which should be on a daily basis, everybody. We are going to be open-minded. We are going to be sympathetic and accepting of one's faults and one's attempts to be better. I will share with you my life experiences. I will let the door open for you to get to know me, the real, the raw, the honest, not the beautiful, not the greatest, not the best of the best person that I am. I'll take you through the rides across the country. I'll take you through the process of being extradited and sought by the authorities. I'll take you through some of my learnings through the incarcerations. You're going to endure some of the stories of what I've done, what I've thought, what my emotional chaos led me to do to my own family. I am going to let you live my life with me. But we're going to do it in a positive way. We're going to do it in a sharing way. Any negative comments, any bashing, any negativity will just be blocked because that's not a part of my change. I'm not here to endure the negativity for things that I've done. We're here to be together to learn from those things and all gather together in building the belief in ourselves and our daily process of change. But yeah, get ready, because you're going to hear some twisted stories, as I definitely lived through each and every day a twisted path of change. And I'm going to share it with all of you. I hope to see you here again soon. You have a great night.